I'd say the highlight of my life was singing for the soldiers. I stood out on an open stage and it was cold and snowing, but I swear I didn't feel a thing except good.
This is the story of a girl who wanted most of all to feel good. But she seldom did. Though she brought joy and warmth and laughter to tens of millions, she found little joy herself. This is the story of Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe was born in Hollywood in 1926. That year, the stars the movie fans pay homage to are tempestuous Gloria Swanson, alluring Pola Negri. But in the studios behind the scenes, other women work at less glamorous jobs. One of these is a film cutter named Gladys Baker. On June the 1st, 1926, she gives birth to a baby girl whom she calls Norma Jean. Sometime after the birth of her daughter, Gladys Baker, who had been deserted by the father of the little girl, suffers a nervous breakdown, and she's committed to a mental institution. The pretty child, now without a mother or a father, without any family, becomes a ward of the county of Los Angeles. It is early in the 1930s, and the United States is in the throes of a depression. Little Norma Jean spends most of her first 15 years being shuttled back and forth to a dozen foster homes. The county allots the sum of $20 a month for the homeless child. And the families that take her in do it principally because they need the money that she brings. For a short time during those years, Norma Jean's mother is thought to be cured, and she leaves the institution. She takes the little girl to watch Hollywood premieres. The two of them examine with awe the footprints of the mighty in the forecourt of Grauman's Chinese Theater. And when her mother must go back to the hospital, Norma Jean begins to weave her own fantasy that someday she will escape her loveless, lonely life and become a star, loved, applauded like her favorites. The handsome, romantic Clark Gable, the vivacious, sophisticated Claudette Colbert, the stalwart, friendly Gary Cooper. But the star she loves the most is Jean Harlow. And when Jean Harlow dies, at the age of only 26, 11-year-old Norma Jean Baker is inconsolable. In 1941, Norma Jean, now a pretty and very popular 15-year-old, graduates from junior high school. Her guardian decides that the young girl should marry the boy next door, a 21-year-old aircraft worker named James Dougherty. So shortly after reaching her 16th birthday, Norma Jean becomes a Van Nuys, California housewife. World War II is underway, and Jim Dougherty goes off to sea in the Merchant Marine. His wife takes a job in a Burbank defense plant. In 1945, an Army photographer doing a story about girls working on the home front takes this picture of Norma Jean. It catapults her into a career as a photographic model for the Blue Book Agency. The Blue Book Agency makes a film test of her. It's the first time she appears before a motion picture camera. She loves it. And she's happy that the agency finds it easy to sell her as the wholesome girl-next-door type. A new world is opened up for Norma Jean. She divorces her husband and devotes her full time to working at her newfound profession. She soon obtains assignments with top photographers like Andre Didianis, for magazines like Family Circle and U.S. Camera. But the photographers tell her that there is much more money in glamour girl shops and cheesecake. And they are right. The photo on the cover of Laugh magazine attracts Howard Hughes, the same producer who discovered Jean Harlow. His interest, in turn, induces one of his competitors, 20th Century Fox, to sign Norma Jean Baker to a movie contract. Norma Jean is ecstatic. Her own fantasy have begun to come true. The studio decrees first that she must have a new name. They call her Marilyn Monroe. But with the exception of 2 walk-ons, the only way they use her is for publicity shots. After just 1 year, in 1947, they drop her. She goes back to modeling, but she continues her dramatic lessons. In these pictures, shot in 1948, she expresses peace, sorrow, and death. In that same year, her perseverance wins her a second chance at a movie contract, this time at Columbia Pictures. She's 22 now, and she's given her first promising movie role, the second lead in a musical called Ladies of the Chorus, in which she plays a young burlesque queen.
You'll be sure to send this right away, won't you?
Wouldn't you rather deliver it in person?
No, thanks, Miss Martin.
Yes. Well, aren't you going to give me the orchid?
The orchid. Oh, yes, the orchid.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And your name's still not on the card?
It's Randy.
It's Randy what?
It's Randy what? Oh, Randy Carroll.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Carroll.
Thank you. I've been planning for a week what I'd say when I met you.
And what did you decide?
I hadn't decided yet. Miss Martin, Miss Martin.
Yes, Mr. Carroll?
Would you go to dinner with me?
I'd love to.
Every baby needs a sad, sad daddy to keep her worry free. Every baby needs a sad, sad daddy, but where's the one for me? Rich or poor, I don't care who.
The high point of the film for Marilyn is a chance to perform a solo song and dance routine. But again, the movie moguls see little promise in Marilyn Monroe, and they fail to renew her contract. But Marilyn has been raised on a steady diet of rejection. She swallows her disappointment and goes to work with a dramatic coach, supporting herself with occasional modeling jobs and unemployment insurance. She poses for calendars for artists like Earl Moran and photographers like Tom Kelly. She develops a sure instinct for publicity. She feels it's the best way to attract the Hollywood producers. And so when a dazzling blonde is needed to dress up a public occasion, Marilyn is there. She's photographed, and what's more, she enjoys it.
But acting, that's not so easy. That's work and patience, a willingness to learn. The girl inside is a little scared, but if there's talent, it begins to show.
I got water in my ear.
Huh?
I got water in my ear.
Yeah, I'll shake it out.
Oh, God. Oh, you're hurting me. Joe, let go.
She's kind of exciting and attractive.
Who's attractive? Who's exciting?
Earl.
Who?
Joe, you're strangling me.
Who's attractive? Who's exciting?
You.
That's better.
Even more than talent, she must have a charm all her own. A manner so distinctive that even if other women copy it, it is still hers. She belongs more and more to the public, less and less to herself. The created image must continue, though the girl inside may be tired. She must pose and smile, pose and smile. Just one more picture. One more. It's sometimes hard to remember, that there was a girl inside.
The strategy pays off. She wins small but flashy parts in two fine pictures, The Asphalt Jungle and All About Eve. And the public loves her. In 1950, she signs a new contract with the studio that dropped her just 3 years before, 20th Century Fox. It's the time of the Korean War. And just as soldiers a decade before had worshipped Betty Grable, now suddenly, Marilyn Monroe becomes the GI's pinup queen. In 1952, Marilyn's new fame and her acting prowess result in her being starred with Joseph Cotton in a film called Niagara. To celebrate Marilyn's new star status, Ray Anthony throws an unmistakably Hollywood party in her honor. In July of 1953, Marilyn returns to the forecourt of Grauman's Chinese Theater, where she and her mother used to come 20 years before. Now she has played the title role in the hit picture Gentlemen Prefer Blondes with Jane Russell. The little girl who once looked wistfully at Hollywood from the outside has now landed on the inside with both hands and feet. In 1954, at the age of 27, she marries one of America's greatest baseball heroes, Joe DiMaggio. He is a man from a large, friendly family. Marilyn looks forward to the warm kind of family relationships she'd never known as a child. Marilyn is no longer a lonely, insecure girl, but a glamorous and self-assured celebrity. But there's a companion on their honeymoon trip to Tokyo, her overwhelming popularity. Even in Japan, where baseball heroes are revered, the dazzling fame of Marilyn Monroe eclipses that of her celebrated husband. The U.S. Army asks Marilyn to fly to Korea to entertain the troops. Although she's still on her honeymoon, she will not deny this request. Joe stays behind in Tokyo, while Marilyn goes over to Korea and puts on 10 shows. In 2 days, she appears before 100,000 soldiers and Marines. She braves the freezing winter weather in a cocktail dress, because she knows this is the Marilyn Monroe her GI fans want to see. She returns to Hollywood in March, just in time for the 1954 Photoplay Awards.
Marilyn Monroe, it gives me the greatest pleasure to present the famous Photoplay magazine Gold Medal Award as the selection of all of the moviegoers of America who have voted you the most popular actress of the year. My congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Salmon. I want to thank the editors of Photoplay magazine and all of the public. I thank you very much.
In the summer of 1954, Marilyn is signed to star in The 7-Year Itch, and her appearance in New York for location shots stopped traffic. Marilyn, standing over a subway grating, attracts a crowd of 4,000 New Yorkers at 3 o'clock in the morning. This shot will become almost as famous as her calendar picture. When the film opens in New York, the man and woman on the street are asked for their reaction.
Oh, I think it's terrific.
Well, it's pretty vulgar, if you ask me.
How so?
I don't know. I don't think it's very nice.
Very nice. Some girl.
You like that, huh?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's very nice, but I'd rather it were me.
I said, what has Marilyn Monroe got that a million other women have and prefer not to show?
I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful.
Marilyn's marriage to Joe DiMaggio lasts less than 10 months. In court, she tearfully tells the judge that she had failed to find the warmth, affection, and understanding that she had sought. But there are those who say the marriage was bound to fail, because by now Marilyn is too much a captive of her career. And she's having career trouble. She wants greater independence in selecting her own stories and directors. And she wants more money. So she walks out on her 20th Century Fox contract in early 1955, goes to New York, and forms her own film company, Marilyn Monroe Productions. On his person-to-person television show, Edward R. Murrow asks Marilyn why.
Primarily to contribute to help making good pictures. It's not that I object to doing musicals or comedies. In fact, I rather enjoy it. But I would like to do also dramatic parts, too. Well, one of the best parts I've ever had was in the Asphalt Jungle, John Huston's picture. And then 7 Years, Billy Wilder's picture.
Morrow asks Marilyn what was the smallest part she ever played.
Two I can think of. One in a picture called Ticket to Tomahawk. I had one word. Well, not exactly a word. It said, And then,
Got a house, got a head.
Got a who's got a hey. In a picture called Got a who's got a hey, I had one word to say. I said, hello. But it went fast. In fact, I cut it out.
Marilyn remains in self-imposed exile in New York, and she makes sporadic public appearances. Marilyn realizes that every public appearance keeps her in the limelight and will help force 20th Century Fox to give in to her demands. Finally, in 1956, because of public demand, Fox comes to terms with her. She is allowed to make outside deals, the first of them with Jack Warner of Warner Brothers. But first, Marilyn makes a film for Fox. Her role in Bus Stop as Cherry delights the critics and attracts the public in swarms.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know you ain't paying no attention. You're all too busy having fun and enjoying yourself. But we got this little floor show, and we have to do it. Hope it don't disturb you none. Okay, baby. Take it away.
That old black magic has me in its spell. That old black magic like me sweeps away. Those icy fingers are playing down my spine.
That's mine?
She's just a gal who works in a salon.
Look at her gleaming there.
Stars
So pale and white.
and down, and down.
like to see a little lady trying to sing?
Oh, sit down, cowboy.
That goes for you, too, mister.
Okay, miss, I reckon you can go on with your song now.
Whereabouts were we, Henry?
I should stay away.
I should stay away, but what can I do? I hear your name, and I'm aflame. That only your kiss can put out the fire. For you're the lover I have waited for, the mate that fate had me created for, and every time your lips meet mine, darling, down and down I go, round and round I go, in a spin, loving that spin, I'm in under that old black magic called love, 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 love,
love. Returning to New York, Marilyn reveals her plans to marry playwright Arthur Miller. She had met Arthur Miller years before in Hollywood. One of America's most distinguished playwrights, he represents to her a world she has never known, but to which she has aspired ever since the day she thought she might become a serious actress.
Miss Monroe, could you tell us what your plans are after your marriage? Do you intend to continue your career?
July 13th, I'm going to England.
Yes.
Yes, and I'll be making the Sleeping Prince with Olivier.
Mm-hmm. And what about, I'm wondering about after your marriage, then after this picture, do you intend to come back here and continue work here in this country?
Well, that depends.
And Marilyn vows that what she wants most of all is to be a good wife. Miller accompanies his bride to England, where she's to co-star with Laurence Olivier in a film to be called The Prince and the Showgirl. Olivier welcomes the Millers with his wife, Vivien Leigh, who starred in Gone with the Wind when Marilyn was barely in her teens. Marilyn's arrival in London creates a furor. With Arthur Miller, as with Joe DiMaggio in Tokyo, it is Marilyn whom the photographers are anxious to cover. Miller, like DiMaggio, must learn patience as the husband of the world's most photogenic woman. In October of 1956, Marilyn is presented to Queen Elizabeth of England. Returning to the United States, the Arthur Millers become part of the New York scene. It appears that at last, Marilyn has found the perfect marriage. In May of 1957, Arthur Miller is placed on trial for contempt of Congress. Marilyn follows him to Washington.
How have you been following the trial?
I've been following it.
Have you been reading the papers about it?
I'd rather not comment on it.
How long have you been here, Miss Monroe?
Since the beginning of the trial.
Just staying in the house here?
That's right.
Has the trial upset your personal life to any degree, Miss Monroe?
I would like to say that I'm fully confident that in the end my husband will win this case.
And it didn't upset your professional career at all? It didn't stop anything you were working on at the time?
No, I haven't been working recently.
What are your plans when you return to New York?
Well, we hope to go back to our normal life.
Would you care to comment on one rumor, Miss Monroe?
The rumor is that the Arthur Millers are expecting a child. Successful in her career, married to a devoted and famous husband, Marilyn has almost complete fulfillment. But she wants a family of her own. Unhappily, now, and once again a year later, she loses the baby. Her fans console her as she leaves the hospital in New York. She goes back to work in Hollywood in 1958 to star in Some Like It Hot with Tony Curtis. Her director is Billy Wilder. And her constant companion is her dramatic coach, Paula Strasberg. But always by her side, consulting and advising on makeup, on publicity stills, on her performance, is her husband, playwright Arthur Miller. Some Like It Hot is one of the great box office hits of the year and wins Marilyn critical acclaim for her talent as a comedienne. Her next film comes 2 years later, in 1960. It's called Let's Make Love, and her leading man is the French actor Yves Montand. By that time, reports have begun to circulate that her marriage to Arthur Miller is in trouble. But playwright Miller has already written a script, The Misfits, to star Marilyn and her childhood idol, Clark Gable. Suddenly, she collapses and is sent to a hospital. The film is finally finished, but so too is Marilyn's marriage. 1961 is a bitter year for Marilyn. With sleeping pills and psychiatric treatment, she tries to escape from the reality of the failure of her marriage. And at times, it seems to work. Despite her loneliness, she still has her career, and the public still loves her. And she clings to that.
What are your plans? How are you feeling?
Right here, fella. Watch it, Sidney.
All I can say as her attorney is that this is what we would say with the conflict of careers.
Stop spoken. We asked her about her health. Were you going to work this morning, Marilyn?
What's the picture? What picture are you working on now?
Please go to work today.
You're going on.
What's your card, please?
Wait a minute.
What's your card, please?
Come on, why so close? Would you like to appear in a play written by Mr. Miller?
I'd like to work up to that someday, if possible.
Is he writing anything for you yet?
No, he's working on something, but, no.
When are you planning to have some children?
But I'm not married yet, dear.
He says too early for me. Can you move that car out of the way?
Mr. Miller, are you very disappointed?
In 1962, 1962, she returns to Hollywood to make Something's Got to Give for 20th Century Fox. On June 1st, the cast throws a birthday party for Marilyn. Her director, George Cukor, helps her celebrate her 36th birthday. It's a happy party. Marilyn's future looks bright again. But it's an illusion. Once more, she is seized by depression. She fails to report to work, claiming illness as an excuse. But the studio will not pamper her. Now, there is nothing left to hang on to. She has no husband, no family. Her career seems to be collapsing. She has only loneliness. Everything she longs for has vanished. How should we measure the value of a single human life? By what is given? By what mark is left behind? There are various marks that tell us Marilyn Monroe passed by here. Box office. Her image on the screen earned $100 million. Newspaper space. Few figures in the 20th century can equal her in that. Joy and laughter. Her pictures and the millions of people who saw them and will see them are testament to that legacy. She also left us warmth and wistfulness, and the knowledge of her vulnerability makes each one of us, perhaps, less lonely.